On air and online, West Michigan's news leader is 24-Hour News 8.
You know, it's an act of God.
Flooding at the B93 Radio Birthday Bash following heavy storms Friday night. Waters rising on the Grand River and the release of some of that water from the dam in Ionia. Tens of thousands of people caught in the floodwaters. They are back home at this hour tonight, forced to cut short their weekend of fun and music, evacuated on foot from the Ionia County Fairgrounds. No choice but to abandon their cars, which are still stranded there tonight, unable to be retrieved because they're trapped by the rising floodwaters. Some cars partially submerged, others underwater. We sent 24-Hour News 8's Jessica Leffler to Ionia. She talked to the Ionia city manager and also the vice president of Clear Channel Radio B93, which sponsored that birthday bash. She talked about the flooding and the evacuations.
About 90 people stayed here overnight. We're at the Ionia Middle School, where the Red Cross set up a temporary shelter. They were hoping to be able to pick up their cars, but it looks like they may not be able to get them until Wednesday. Thousands of people evacuating B93's birthday bash, walking through water to safety.
Us collectively making the decision, it appeared that the river was not going to rise as high as it ended up rising, and that the event could continue.
Jason Epler, Ionia city manager, says the decision to keep B93's birthday bash open revolved around information given to them from the National Weather Service. He adds they were also in touch with employees at Consumers Energy at the dam in Lansing.
I think there was some conversations between public safety personnel and representative of consumers. Just as the water came up here much faster than we anticipated, I'm sure that happened downstream or upstream rather for consumers as well. And I don't think it makes any sense to point any fingers anywhere. You know, it's an act of God.
Reps with consumers say they had to release the dam in compliance with federal and state laws. The city manager says at 4 and 7 on Saturday morning, the National Weather Service predicted no imminent threat of flooding. The gates opened at 8 a.m. and problems along with Grand River's waters began to rise around 11.
The problem was really at an isolated area, which was the entrance to the south lot. So at 11:30, we stopped parking cars on the south lot and began bringing gravel in hopes to be able to get those people out of that area.
But that gravel wasn't enough, and soon the lot was flooded. Check out this video we got today of hundreds of cars trapped. The city of Ionia is looking at options to get those vehicles out. They won't disclose specific ideas they're exploring.
We know people want their vehicles. As soon as we can get those vehicles out, we'll certainly do that, but we don't want to rush it either. We don't want to put anybody in an unsafe situation.
The Red Cross housed 90 people who waited in hopes of getting their cars. Most headed home, and those without a car had to hitch a ride. Even one of our photographers, 24-Hour News 8's Bilal Kurdi, drove back this couple to Grand Rapids. We spoke with shelter organizers. They tell us that most people are heading home today, one way or another, and they plan on closing the shelter down. In Ionia, I'm Jessica Leffler, 24-Hour News 8.